Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and prepare your monocles, because today we're talking about a French sports coupé so elegant it could have taught your mother-in-law how to glide, and so rare it makes four-leaf clovers seem overgrown. The 1938 Peugeot 402 Darl'mat Special Coupé by Pourtout is not just a car. It's the automotive equivalent of whispering poetry in a silk tuxedo while overtaking a Bugatti on the left at 100 miles an hour. Before we pop the bonnet on this rolling Art Deco fever dream, let me say a heartfelt mercy to our glorious channel sponsors, you brave souls who clicked join instead of spending that $3.99 on an oat milk latte. Your generosity fuels this glorious circus of chrome, grease, and questionable life choices. Now let's rewind to 1930s France, where Émile Darl'mat, a Peugeot dealer with more ambition than patience, decided he'd had enough of selling family sedans to people named Gerard. He wanted speed. He wanted style. He wanted Peugeot to roar at Le Mans and make Bugatti sweat through its mustache wax. So Darl'mat teamed up with coachbuilder Marcel Pourtout and designer Georges Paulin, forming a dream trio that makes modern car development teams look like a group chat full of unread messages. By 1936, this crew had already impressed Peugeot management with a folding roof coupe based on the 601. That success gave Darl'mat the green light to take the compact 302 chassis, soup it up, and top it with hand-built coachwork that looked like it had been drawn by an Art Nouveau angel during a wind tunnel séance. Peugeot even allowed him to slap his own name on the finished product, a rare move, considering most automakers won't let dealers name the coffee machines in the break room. So, in 1936, the first Darl'mat Special Sport rolled into the Paris Motor Show and caused an immediate stir. It was long, low, and had more aerodynamic curves than a high society scandal. Soon after, Darl'mat convinced Peugeot to back him for Le Mans. The result? 3 bare-knuckle roadsters finished 7th, 8th, and 10th at their first outing in 1937. That's like entering a baking competition with a blowtorch and still walking away with a ribbon. In 1938, Peugeot rolled out the 402 Légère, short wheelbase 402 hardware marrying the 302's compact footprint to the 402's 2.0-litre punch, on a chassis shorter and wider than the standard 402. This time, only one of the 3 Darl'mat saw the flag, 5th overall and victor of the 2-litre class, while its 2 teammates bowed out early. The Peugeot press office probably popped more champagne than the winner. Victory over the German teams? Let's just say the croissants tasted extra patriotic that year. Only 105 Darl'mat special sport cars were ever made, 53 roadsters, 32 cabriolets, and just 20 coupés, the rarest of the rare. And of those coupés, only 6 were built on the 1938 chassis, with a mere 3 surviving today. One of them, chassis 75536, was gifted by Darl'mat himself to Peugeot's Director of Mechanical Studies, Alfred Jauch, a move that's basically the 1930s version of an engineer bonus, except instead of a Starbucks gift card, it's a one-of-a-kind race-bred French spaceship. Then, just as the momentum was building, history pulled the handbrake. World War II broke out, and Darl'mat's dream was bricked, literally. Rumor has it one prototype was hidden behind a wall to prevent Nazi seizure. That's not paranoia, that's dedication. Post-war, Darl'mat returned to tinkering, but the magic of the pre-war specials never quite returned. Still, around 30 examples of these cars survived, testaments to both French craftsmanship and the fact that not every vintage vehicle ends up as lawn art in the south of Texas. Under that flowing bodywork, the Darl'mat meant business. The 1991cc4 made about 70 horses in road tune with twin Zeniths. Some cars wore a VD supercharger for roughly 80 horsepower, while the Le Mans runners generally breathed naturally. That's not a huge number today, but in the late 1930s it was enough to make your beret fly off. More impressive was the Cotal pre-selector gearbox, a sort of semi-automatic, electromagnetically operated transmission that let you shift gears faster than a politician changes opinions. Drivers loved it, especially during endurance races when every second and every sanity-saving shift counted. The chassis, though derived from the 302 and 402 family cars, was cut, lightened and sharpened. Front suspension was independent, rear was a live axle, and the whole thing rode on a mix of leaf springs and hydraulic shock absorbers. It wasn't magic, but it worked, and it worked well. Braking stayed resolutely cable-operated drums. The car handled beautifully by the standards of the time and could top out around 150 kilometers per hour or 93 miles per hour. Dimensionally, the Darl'mat Coupé measured about 165 inches, 4.2 meters, long on a 113-inch, 2.88 meters wheelbase. Width was just over 66 inches, 1.68 meters, and height was low enough to qualify for limbo. Weight came in at around 1,400 pounds, 1,100 kilograms, depending on body material and whether you'd eaten breakfast. Roadsters were similarly light, about 250 pounds, approximately 1,020 kilograms in aluminium trim. But the real party trick was its aerodynamic design. Georges Paulin tested scale models in a wind tunnel. Yes, a wind tunnel in the 1930s, proving that this wasn't just sculpture on wheels. Every line served a purpose. Teardrop rear fenders without full spats, fared-in headlamps and a raked windshield. It was a silent assassin in a Savile Row suit. Compared to a Bugatti Type 57 or Delahaye 135, the Peugeot had less raw muscle, but its featherweight aluminium coachwork and slippery shape let it punch way above its class. The design of the Darl'mat Special Coupé was where automotive engineering and sculpture met for a smoke and a glass of Bordeaux. Coachbuilder Marcel Pourtout, working with stylist Georges Paulin, crafted one of the most jaw-dropping silhouettes of the 1930s. Long hood, teardrop fenders, rear split window, and a grille that looked like it whispered sweet nothings in chrome. Every panel was shaped by hand, and you can tell this wasn't a car made for traffic jams. It was made for Concours d'Elegance before that was even a term. The side vents along the hood were like jewelry with a job. They cooled the engine and winked at passers-by. Inside, the Darl'mat was a snug little cockpit with just enough room for 2 humans and possibly 1 poodle if it behaved. Trim was minimalist but tasteful. Some had leather, others cloth, but all made you feel like you were doing something significantly more important than grocery shopping. This was a rolling art piece, not a minivan. Now let's talk prices. Back in 1939, a Darl'mat cost around 30,000 French francs. In today's terms, that's roughly $20,000, about the same as a house in rural France or 3,000 croissants, depending on your priorities. But oh, how the times have changed. Fast forward to the 21st century, and one of the surviving 1938 coupés, chassis 705536, no less, sold at RM Sotheby's in Monterey for a staggering $885,000. And if you're lucky enough to find one for sale, well, good luck. You have better odds of finding a truffle pig that speaks fluent French. Roadsters, being slightly more common, have traded from roughly the low $200,000 to well over $700,000, depending on condition and provenance. Even unrestored or partially complete Darl'mats are chased like holy grails. An incomplete Roadster reportedly sold for $2,500 in the 1980s, a fact that causes modern collectors to scream into their steering wheels. So here we are. A pre-war Peugeot, dreamed up by a dealership, sculpted by a dentist-turned-designer, hand-built by artisans, raced against giants, hidden from Nazis, and now parked in the pantheon of the most valuable French classics ever made. If that's not worth toasting with a glass of Burgundy, I don't know what is. That's it for today's adventure into chrome, curves, and class. If you enjoyed this ride, don't forget to smash that subscribe button like it owes you money, and remember, if you ever find yourself behind the wheel of a pre-war Peugeot, wear gloves.